Hello everyone, this is Peter. Welcome back to another week of News Plus brought you from Plus Agency. News Plus channel is going to summarize what has happened in the Sydney real estate market in the past week. If you're interested in this type of content, please make sure to subscribe, watch, and send it to your friends and families who may also needed it. Plus Agency is a boutique agency located in the heart of Chatswood at 418 Victoria Avenue. If you are looking for properties in the east, in the north, or in the CBD, make sure you pay us a visit. If you have properties in the east, in the north, in the CBD, make sure you pay us a visit as well to enjoy some of the Plus services. Alright, with no further ado, let's get this week's News Plus started. First of all, Abby Chatfield's new 1.875 million Tamarama apartment reviewed. So this influencer based in Byron Bay has bought back in Sydney. Her $1.758 million buy in Tamarama looks savvy purchases, following its $1.875 million price tag after a failed December auction campaign. The two-bedroom apartment was on the market for months until Chatfield swooped shortly before the second rewind auction attempt. The 80 square meter apartment has a laundry that open to a sunroom as new and a new bathroom and the eating kitchen. The tightly held Art Deco block, where the longest owner paid only $68,500 in 1984. The former bachelor star turned influencer as property economy. Looks like she not just have the looks and she not just having the influence, but she also knows exactly what she is doing. Going to the next one, GWS Giants veteran Callan Ward buys $5 million Palm Spring home in Bondi. GWS Giants veteran Callan Ward and his ex-pendant wife Ruby has treed up in the eastern suburb. Ward was paid a record of 255 games with the club, has headed closer to the beach. He paid $4.866 million for a renovated 1920 home in North Bondi. This home is beautifully renovated. The 4-bedroom home marketed as Palm Spring inspired family home underwent a pricey renovation last year, which was sold in 2019 at $2.175 million only. The kitchen is beautiful. The staircase, the bathroom, everything come close to this beautiful, white, clean, neat cut with its own low maintenance kitchen and these beautiful mirrors that just come out in front of the kitchen and make the room looks a lot bigger than what it looked like. Even though it was failed a rewire marketing campaign at the end of 2021, this property was ended up sold by Real Home this year at a very, very good price to this so-called legend, right, in Sydney football field. The guy knows exactly what he's doing. They just moving down closer to the beach, and then with a new family happening, looks like this is gonna be a perfect home for them for a while coming. Next one, Wahroonga Heritage Home, built for Australia's oldest jeweler, sells after 7 months on the market. At number 30, Fox Valley Road, Wahroonga has sold for $3.43 million after 7 months on the market. The stately heritage listed home, built for the namesake of Australia's oldest jeweler, Fairfax and Roberts, has finally sold in Wahroonga after 7 months on the market. Well, the sales agent was tightly lipped about either the result or even the price guide. The local source said Ross Lodge at 30 Fox Valley Road sold on Thursday for $3.43 million. But first listed last November for December auction, it's understood the guide has been $4 million. But as the campaign progressed, the guide dropped to $3.4 million to $3.6 million, and the final result was at the lower end of that range. The home itself is really, really beautiful. It does have a lot of heritage features, which means it cannot be renovated. But according to land title record, the 5-bedroom house are still on an elevated 1,400 square meter block with a pool and a view to Bondi Bay. It was last changed for only $380,000 in 1986 and has remained the Lancaster family until the recent sale. A Grand Period residence dated back to between 1901 and 1920. Ross Lodge was believed to be commissioned by the businessman Oscar G. Roberts, who stepped in to help the celebrated jeweler, then known as Lambert Fairfax, stay afloat after Robert Lamb died in a boating accident in 1876. So it does have a lot of history. History is what people like, and history is what people pay for in Australia. So this home has finally sold after 8 months at a really reasonable price as well. Sydney auctions, home sellers under pressure to cut prices amid brutal run of results. Home sellers have had a tough time trying to offload their properties at auction this weekend as buyers spooked by interest rate rises and falling market pullback from bidding. The week's final results from nearly 1,000 scheduled Sydney auctions are yet to all come in, but preliminary indicators suggest there was a high indecisiveness of properties passing in without a bid. There was also a high number of sellers who withdrew their homes from auction, normally an indicator there wasn't enough bidder interest in the property. Housing experts said the problem for sellers wasn't lack of buyers because there was still many home seekers in the market with high budget. The bigger issue was a lack of buyer confidence. Many of the current home seekers in the market were reported to be fearful they would pay a higher prices than what they might be paying 3 or 4 months. So they want to wait out. It comes as a proper track. Data shows that Sydney home prices dropped in April, the first medium fall in more than 18 months. Prices had stopped growth for months before the drop. When Reserve Bank announced the first cash rate rises in 11 years earlier this month and lender warning of more rate rises to come, there is expected to be additional downwards pressure on the prices. The pattern of buyer pulling out from sales was not pronounced, with the properties perceived as rare offerings. Quality homes or larger land with some scope for improvement are still there selling. On the other hand, the buyers was most hesitated with properties they viewed as having a drawback, such as dated interior or location on busy road. Small units in large high-rise buildings are also not really attracting a lot of significant bidder interest. Only about 55% of the properties scheduled for auction last week sold, with close to half changing hands pre-auction. Auction has a similar successful rate the week prior. The clearance rate was 75% over March of February, and looks like the market is going to slow down a bit, but at the end of the day, right, doesn't matter how slow down it is, the good properties, the absolutely good properties are still selling as we speak. All right, going to Sydney auctions again. Eastwood home attracts an unexpected price after dozen bidder register. Onlookers at an auction in Eastwood could be forgiven for thinking they stepped into a time machine and were blasted back to last year when Sydney's housing market was firing. There was 12 registered bidders for this property on Bondi Road, one of the busier roads for traffic in the area, and the crowd, about 80 people, were in the backyard watching the bidding. Close to 40 buyers has requested a contract of sale for the modern 4-bedroom duplexes from agent Fiona Lee of Tracy Yap. More than 100 groups attended the open of inspections. The hammer eventually dropped at $2.011 million. It's $211,000 over the reserve price and more than $500,000 above the opening bid. Ms. Lee said the vendor has expected much lower prices, was thrilled with the surprising result. The Eastwood sale came in as many other auctions across Sydney failed to deliver result for the vendors, with some properties passing in under the hammer after no bid was putting through. Other auctions were called off after sellers withdrew their homes due to a little buyer interest. The typical auction that did go ahead has 3 to 5 bidders. Auctioneer Chris, the director of Secret Auctions, said a dozen registered bidders for the Bondi Road homes was a phenomenal turnout in the current market, especially in Eastwood. I think people are still looking for something with a beautiful large land. It shows that an A-tier property was still attracting competition from buyers. It's the B-tier, C-tier properties where the vendors may have to adjust their expectations. Ms. Lee attributed the higher result to the local near the most sought-after schools in the area, a quality build, and being multiple bidders who had been looking for a home for more than a year. Next one, Sydney's eastern suburbs. Quick double-digit million-dollar sales ahead of federal election. As the election looms, one of Sydney's top agents has sold several big homes for double-digit million-dollar prices and leased a banker's home with a $15 million guide. PBD real estate principal Alexander Phillips, who has bought 3 properties in the same street, from our last week's News Plus, says after price drops of between 5 and 10%, buyers in the east were starting to see value, and he's back in selling properties with days of them being listed. These included 1886 Spencer home at 115 Jersey Road in Woollahra. The record shows that retired former partner of PricewaterhouseCoopers, Greg Hall, and his wife Jody bought it $5.5 million in 2015. That sold for circa around $15 million after just 6 days on the market. And a 4-bedroom beachside dream at 72 Brighton Boulevard, North Bondi, with an $8.25 million guy has sold for around $10 million plus after only 7 days on the market. That will be a street record for $2 million. The market seems to have staggered over the past week. Things are starting to level out after 5 to 10% price drop. Buyers see value. With the election over, sellers also curious returning. Phillips has just listed Beverly Hills homes of banker Ashley Salter and his wife Christine with a $50 million guide with the auction scheduled on the 18th of June. We'll see how that goes in terms of the actual sales results. So that's it for this week's News Plus, and let's have a look the Plus listings. As usual, we are offering this beautiful 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom townhouse with magnificent finishes in the heart of Pimble. In this particular episode of News Plus, we talk about good properties still selling, and by all means, this is another really good properties. Marble finishes, beautiful bench top, beautiful Miele kitchen, really large stones being used all over the place, having 4 bedrooms, beautiful timber floor, and large walk-in plus additional study areas. The bathroom has got this place is really over marble, right? Look at the finishes in this particular with the private yard, very, very low maintenance, very low and a sandstone pillar, as well as a lot of beautiful landscapings around the area. You do look like this as a townhouse. It looks like a duplex design with 2 car spaces. This is someone, if you're looking for a home, in the Upper North Shore with 261 square meters on the size and 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathroom, and 2 car spaces, townhouses with low maintenance, this is the property to buy. And if you need to know more about properties, please make sure to check out plusagency.com.au for our other listings. And this is Peter Lee. Thank you so much for watching this week's News Plus. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.